Hello.
Hey everybody, we're back again. It is time for some more
College football.
college football. Man, we are knee deep in the college football season right now. We're already up to week
4. We're up to week 5 right now.
5. It's only week 2 of the SEC, but it's week 5 of the college football season. So,
We're going to recap week 4
first of all, we got to recap week 4. So we'll jump into week 4, talk about it a little bit.
It
Now,
had some interesting results.
interesting is not the word for it, but let's just jump into our favorite game of the week: Tennessee at South Carolina. That's a good way to start off the SEC season, on the road with a W.
On the road with the W against South Carolina, a division rival.
I think the line was 3.5 points, and Tennessee pulled it before. So
Right around the barrier.
right around the barrier where it actually needed to be. Tennessee's defense looked.
Henry To'oTo'o he looks like one of the better linebackers in the entire conference.
Yeah, Toto. He'll be in the NFL. If you know what I mean, I know what I mean. He is good. Tennessee's running game looked pretty good. And
Garantano still got issues.
Garantano's a little inconsistent. He didn't throw any. We didn't have any interceptions. Didn't have any fumbles. So I think he's improved.
But he needs to be more accurate.
Little more.
He throws high on some throws.
Throws a little bit high on some. Throws a little bit behind people on some. I'm hoping that's just some first game jitters plus not much practice. Honestly, a lot of teams just ain't had practice. But Tennessee's, I think, definitely an improved team.
Tennessee basically won the game on that bonehead South Carolina play at the end where they messed up on special teams.
I think Tennessee would have won it anyways because South Carolina only had a little over a minute left and no timeouts, and were behind by 4, so they would have needed a touchdown.
Yeah,
probably not going to happen. But it's sweet that you didn't even have to deal with it because just
the returner just had
get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. The kick. I mean, get out of the way.
That's South Carolina for you.
Yeah, but let's jump on into the other games. We had just a tiny upset. Kansas State, who lost to Arkansas State the week before,
comes back in the second half from a 20-plus point deficit against Oklahoma. And beat them.
And beat Oklahoma. So number 3 Oklahoma.
What an absolute... They pulled a Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot
pulled a Falcon.
I cannot believe
Kansas State got beat by
Arkansas
State.
Something called Arkansas State.
I don't even know what their mascot is. You know, what's Arkansas State's mascot?
The Red Wolves.
The Red Wolves? Wow, the Red Wolves are pretty good. I guess we need to maybe remember them a little bit.
But, man, that was an embarrassing
maybe it's animals. Oklahoma doesn't need to play animals.
Somebody turned the Boomer Sooner into like a clown
And honestly, show. I would have not have picked that. I thought Oklahoma would beat them by 30 points.
But that did not happen. It looked like it was going to be like that. But
I mean, they got it up by a huge amount and just sort of quit playing, and they just didn't score anymore. I don't know. A team that did score pretty good was Florida at Ole Miss. Florida looks pretty good. They started out a little sluggish, but putting up 51 points in the SEC is a pretty good team. I think Florida's probably looking the best in the East right now, even though I am not a Florida Gator fan, and it hurts me to say that. But Florida is probably looking like the best team in the East right now, at least after game 1. We got a long ways to go, so you never know. Hopefully, Tennessee can get better and give them a little rival. But Florida beat Ole Miss by 16, which was about, I think the line was 14 or 13 or something. So, yeah. We had Kentucky at Auburn.
That was pretty much box standard
Kentucky 29-13. Kentucky, honestly, probably they had a better chance to win until that really horrible ref call right at halftime, where the guy was in over the goal line over his waist, had the ball in his hand. They didn't have a good angle view, so they called him down at the 6-inch line. And then the very next play was an interception.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. They just didn't have it. I mean, both the announcers were going, well, that's pretty obvious he was in. And then it was like, nope. So it cost them 7 points, and they took it off the board. It was an interception, ran back for a touchdown that got called back. So it just destroyed Kentucky from that point on. They just looked horrible, and Auburn took advantage of it and won 29-13. I think we had it called, but Kentucky looked decent in the first half. We had the University of Central Florida Golden Knights
pulling out a dub.
Yeah, 51-28. That was pretty easy for them there.
Pretty easy. Dylan Gabriel is probably one of the better quarterback performances of the season so far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. We had Georgia Southern at Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns squeaked.
Another squeaker for the
Squeaker,
Cajuns.
man. Kick the last second field goal. Hey, as long as it's a W.
They may be the best team in Louisiana.
They may be the best team in Louisiana right now. Sorry, LSU fans, man. That was ugly. But we can get to that in just a second. We had Louisville at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, the Pitt Panthers pulled out this win by double digits.
No, it was single digits, 23-20. Yeah, 23-20. They were up by double digits, and then Louisville came back at the end to make it close, but Pitt was really the better team of the two. You want some double digits, though. Mississippi State at LSU.
Man, talk about a good debut.
623 yards of passing and 5 touchdowns. The 623 yards is an SEC record.
And that's Mike Leach's first game.
Mike Leach's first game. So,
Mississippi State could be dangerous if they play like this.
The air raid looked pretty good, I think. It might work in the SEC. It's a possibility, anyways.
If Mike Leach gets SEC recruits,
if he gets SEC speed and SEC talent and that offense, it makes some damage.
Mississippi State could be a sleeper contender.
They're either going to be fantastic or people are going to get enough film to figure them out. One way or the other. We don't really know how it's going to happen yet.
Basically
LSU was the guinea pig. And, man, they got eat like a mouse in a trap. It was ugly.
They need to really just look inside themselves and figure out the problems with that team because there were a few problems.
Yeah, LSU was ranked number 6. They're not anymore. But again, we'll jump into this week coming up here next. We had Texas at Texas Tech. Man, Texas pulled one out. I thought Texas was going to lose too to Texas Tech, but they pulled one out in overtime.
Squeaked it out Big 12 style. Read the score.
63-56.
This is why people call the Big 12 the no defense conference.
They were down. It was 15 points
in the fourth quarter.
And
Texas
got a touchdown.
Recovered
onside kick. Got a touchdown. Got a 2-point conversion in like a minute and a half. And then went into overtime and scored. So they were actually down by 15 points in the last few minutes of the game, but managed to win. So you got to give them the dub.
The Longhorns had that winning mentality.
Yeah.
If they keep that winning mentality, maybe they could be a playoff contender.
But what they really need to do is not get down 15 points late in the fourth quarter. I mean, come on, people. But, hey, you come back and win, another game, Army at Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is for real.
They look like a good contender for at least a New Year's Eve.
I think they are a very good team. Army is not a bad team. They beat them 24-10. So beat them by 14.
A good old defensive slugfest that the Bearcats managed to win.
Mm-hmm. We had West Virginia at Okie State. Okie State won 27-13.
Not exactly what you would still want from Oklahoma State.
They're sort of middle of the road, and that's honestly we'll have to watch them to see how they do throughout the year. We had Georgia at Arkansas. Struggled a little bit.
That offense in the first half was putrid.
Yeah, they swapped out quarterbacks, and
they automatically looked better.
Revved it up a little bit. So we don't know which quarterback they're going to play this week, but, man,
Just another...
They were down, 10-7, was it?
Like 10-7 at halftime.
At halftime. Too. So that was sort of ugly. But they won 37-10. Their defense picked it up, too. We had Alabama at Missouri, 38-19.
Pretty much the box standard performance for Alabama.
Yeah. Speaking of another team struggling that shouldn't be, Vandy at Texas A&M.
Very disappointing performance for the Aggies.
17-12, they beat Vandy. And think about it, one freak play and Vandy could have won. I mean, one freak touchdown and Vandy could have beat them. I'm not giving up on Texas A&M, but that was pretty rough. We had Florida State at Miami. Miami's pretty good, too. They're getting better.
52-10 in a rivalry game.
Yeah.
Mop the floor with them, man.
They only beat them by 42. That's pretty bad for a rivalry game. We had NC State at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's first game of the year. They looked pretty good. 45-24. So they won out by 21.
Pretty much exactly what the Hokies would want.
Yeah, and then last but not least, we had BYU taking on Troy, and BYU beat them by 41-17. That was probably the gimme of the week.
There you go. That's BYU.
That's BYU, yeah. And then we had Notre Dame, Wake Forest postponed, so we did not get that one. So we'll just jump right into our picks now.
For week 5.
5 of the college football. Week 2 of the SEC, but week 5 of the college football. And this is a little weird because we're going to get the Big Ten popping in here
sooner or later
on like week 7. So week 7 is going to be week 5 for the SEC or week 1 for the Big Ten, and or like
later on we get week 1 of the Pac-12.
Who knows? Dude, this is the messed up thing we've ever seen. But hey, we got college football. All right, let's jump on in. We've actually got some Friday night lights tonight. Got a top 25 Friday night game. La Tech, who's 2-0.
Against BYU.
Yeah, BYU will beat the doors off of them. This is a 20-point game.
They seem like they're a good offense, too.
They are. They're doing pretty good. Definitely going to be taking BYU in that. Now, jumping into the Saturday games, my favorite game of the week, we got the Mizzou Ori Tigers.
Against the number 21. Tennessee
Now,
Volunteers.
Tennessee was 16 last week, dropped to 21, but the only reason they dropped to 21 was they brought
the Big Ten back into
all
the
teams back into the rankings again. So Tennessee is actually favored by 12 points over Missouri.
Because Missouri is rebuilding, and they have a brand new coach.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take that. I'm going to take Tennessee minus 12 because I think they're going to beat them by 14, 17.
I'm not really positive about Garantano, though.
Garantano's best game of his career was last year against who? Guess who?
Missouri.
He threw for over 400 yards, only the third quarterback in the history of Tennessee football to throw for over 400 yards.
To be fair, he had Jawan Jennings to throw the ball.
And Marquez Galloway. But hey, we had some wide receivers to step up a little bit. I mean, that over the shoulder Johnson dove out and caught was pretty sweet. But we will at least I will take Missouri at minus 12 on that one. And it's the next one we got South Carolina. Poor South Carolina. Coming off of losing to Tennessee has to go to Florida.
Look who's Gator bait.
Florida will beat the doors off of them, too.
They're going to chew the doors off.
Yes, I think that's pretty good. We got TCU at Texas.
Texas
is favored by 11. Hook 'em home. Texas is favored by 11, and I think that's right about where it's going to fall. So that's a little bit of a frightening game. Texas almost last week, so they should bounce back this week, being at home again. So we probably will take the Texas minus 11 there. We got NC State at Pittsburgh. Pitt should beat them.
Pitt should beat them pretty decent.
NC State looked pretty bad against Vatech last week, and Pitt looked pretty good against Louisville. So we'll definitely take Pitt.
Miami looked pretty good against Louisville, but I guess that's not fair.
And we have a top 15 actually matchup. Texas A&M at
Alabama.
That should be a pretty good
for
game.
the CBS game of the week.
This is the CBS game of the week, and this is also a very good test for exactly where Texas A&M is at. The line on it is 18. If they can keep it under 18, Texas A&M might be a decent team.
Or they just play up and down to their competition.
Or it's a 30-point game, and we figure, well, there we go. There goes Texas A&M season. But honestly, Alabama minus 18, I'm probably going to take Alabama.
You want to pick Alabama?
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't beat them by 18, to be honest. As good as Alabama looked last week and as bad as Texas A&M looked,
it's pretty fair to say that.
Yeah, we got North Carolina at Boston College.
They haven't played in a couple of weeks.
No, they're 1-0, but they've been on the COVID protocol, so they haven't played a couple of weeks. They're favored by 14.5 at Boston College. That's going to be a tough one with them being off a couple of weeks. How practiced are they?
I feel like Carolina has enough talent, especially with their upcoming recruiting classes.
They should be able to handle this one. Yeah, we got the University of South Florida Bulls at Cincinnati. This may be the blowout of the week. Because the Bulls don't look very good right now.
They lost to Notre Dame 52-0.
Yeah, and Cincinnati may be a top 15 team, really, as good as they've looked so far, unless they collapse. I'm thinking Cincinnati all the way on this one. We got Okie State at Kansas.
Oklahoma State. That's my pick.
Yeah, Kansas is not playing basketball here. This is football.
This is football.
So Oklahoma State should win this one pretty easily. Yeah. We got Memphis at SMU.
I'm going to take Memphis.
Pick 'em. This is a pick 'em game.
I'm going to take
I'll probably take Memphis too. Memphis should be the slightly better team.
They have more experience.
Yeah. And then we have the real game of the week, the 7:30 game, Auburn at
Georgia. The Southwest, the Southeast's oldest rivalry.
Yes.
The deep South,
the deep South.
The deep South rivalry.
Yeah. Georgia didn't look very good last week. Auburn
also struggled
a little bit. So really, this game could go either way. Since it's at Georgia, probably going to take Georgia.
You want to take the Bulldogs?
Probably will, just because they're at Georgia and Kentucky. Honestly, if Kentucky would have played right, they probably had a chance to beat Auburn last week. So I'm going to lead with Georgia, just for talent.
Georgia has talent every year.
The quarterback position does scare me at Georgia, though.
Yeah.
But right now, early in the season at Georgia, this should lean towards Georgia. We got Tulsa at University of Central Florida.
We're going to pick the Knights.
No, they'll beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
This may be the second lock of the week. So, yeah, they will beat the crap out of them. We got Arkansas at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is now ranked number 16.
They had a very impressive showing from their offense last week.
From out of the rankings
into the rankings.
to 16 in the rankings. So
I will like Mike Leach's team.
They're favored by 17.
Do they copy that same performance against them?
They beat LSU by 10. I would think they could probably beat Arkansas by 17.
That would be fair to say.
I think so.
Because Arkansas is coming off of 2 winless seasons in the SEC.
This 17 might be the key number. It might be 52 to 17, the final score. We got Oklahoma dropped to 18 from 3
Yikes.
to 18.
Yikes. 15 spots.
Yeah. Well, they lost to K-State. I mean, I'd probably drop them 15 spots too. But they're at Iowa State. They're only favored by 7.5.
You want to pick Oklahoma?
I'll probably pick Oklahoma. Oklahoma should have a bounce-back game. That was sort of a smack in the face last week, because they are a good team. They got a good team. That's a good coach. They should bounce back and take care of that. And we got LSU at Vandy. Speaking of bounce back, poor Vandy. They're going to take the wrath of LSU. This is a 22-point, 25-point game here, yeah. And then last but not least, the number 1 team in the country, Virginia at Clemson. This is the biggest spread in the top 25 this week, 28.5 points.
This seems like one of those games from last year where Clemson didn't have much competition.
No, they don't have a lot of competition. Honestly, it's probably 28 points is probably just about right for it.
Just about right for Clemson.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick Clemson 28?
I probably would. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to doubt Clemson yet until they trip and stumble a little bit. Trevor he's all he's been advertised about right now. He'll probably be the number 1 pick in the NFL. He'll be playing in the NFL somewhere this time next year, and it'll be fun to watch. Even though he might be at the Jets.
Oh. Let's not worry Trevor too much.
Yeah, let's not make him come back for next year yet. But hey, that's it. That is college football for week 5. Or week 2 or pre-week 5. Whatever it is. Yeah. We hope you liked it. Be sure and leave us a comment below. Hit the like button, the subscribe button.
Put a comment down below to see.
Let us know what you think about who's going to win, who ain't going to win. Let us know if we're full of crap or we probably are full of crap.
Throw your opinion down on the comments section.
Yeah, leave us down there. Hit the groovy baby button.
Somewhere over my head.
Somewhere over there, somewhere. Other than that, we'll be back next week for more college football.
See you next week.